Hello and welcome to the Voice of TOD. I'm Tom and today we're going to take a little look at Avowed. So Avowed was previously announced a couple of years ago at one of the Microsoft conferences as a new game coming from Obsidian. We haven't heard much about it, but a couple of things have started to drop, so hopefully we're going to get some big reveals soon. But this caught my eye. So this is from a couple of days ago over on Game Rant. I'll stick a link in the description below if you want to check out the article yourself, but we are going to run through it. So Avowed reportedly has 10 plus narrative designers. A new LinkedIn update reveals that Obsidian developer Zoe Franznik, who worked as a narrative designer on Pentiment, has joined the Avowed team. So that's what caught my eye. Pentiment is a fantastic little narrative story. Very different. I'll stick a link probably as a pinned comment to my playthrough of it because it's fun. It's quite long, but it's a lot of fun. Really good narrative story. So this bodes well for Avowed. But this reportedly means that the open world RPG set in the Pillars of Eternity setting Eora has 10 plus narrative designers working on it. In game development, narrative designers are an absolutely vital role and one that is sometimes overlooked. What a narrative designer does is make sure that narrative weaves in and out of every other element of the game, often working across departments to make sure that, for example, a certain gameplay beat doesn't undermine the story. It pairs the gameplay verbs with the narrative beats, meaning that understanding the narrative allows them to better immerse players in terms of gameplay. For example, a narrative designer is involved in how getting dragon shouts in Skyrim involves itself in the world around them, and how the character develops throughout the story as they gain strength, and how a character's abilities impact gameplay. Grounding a dragon for Skyrim, for example. They have a real hard-on for Skyrim in this article. With Franznik joining Avowed as a narrative director, and Pentiment perhaps being a simple yet effective way of showing narrative design in action, she joins a wide team. Other narrative designers on Avowed reportedly have their roots in BioWare. Excellent narratives normally, so that's good. Ubisoft leadership, questionable. Hogwarts Legacy I know nothing about. Riot Games, I mean there's a few in there, but it's definitely an interesting list. And more. Pulling together perhaps a powerhouse of a team. And with 10 narrative designers, it definitely speaks to the scope and goals of Avowed. That's something that I want to highlight. There's a lot of narrative stuff in here, so it's obviously going to be a big, deep story. That gets me excited. For comparison, Pentiment included 3 narrative designers, obviously including Franznik, along with narrative director Josh Sawyer. Now I'd be interested to see what Josh Sawyer's doing next, because Pentiment seemed like his sort of a real passion for him. If he brings that passion into something like Avowed, or whatever he's doing next, it's going to be good. So Obsidian is definitely a studio on the rise for me, and they've always been pretty good. As another point of comparison, narrative designer is a position that didn't really emerge until 2006. The 2011 release of Skyrim, again mentioning Skyrim, as a continued point of reference, doesn't include a narrative designer on its list of credits. However, of course, it has a plethora of people who did work tied to this position. Its credits list about 8 folks responsible for just quest design and writing, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I couldn't even tell you what the narrative is in Skyrim apart from kill dragons and get their power, and I think I've played it twice. I need to play it again really. I know maybe I've only played it once. Maybe I'm doing Skyrim a disservice, but I don't really remember the narrative that much. Ultimately, of course, it remains to be seen how this element of Avowed is eventually realised. Microsoft and Obsidian has, to date, only revealed one trailer for the game, and we are going to take a look at that to refresh our memories. It's not impossible, it picks up, and fans learn more about the game later this year, but its release doesn't seem to be on the horizon quite yet. In the meantime, Microsoft has quite a few heavy hitters slated for 2023, including the releases of Starfield and Redfall. Avowed is in development for PC and Xbox Series X. Just to touch on Starfield and Redfall, we're not sure when we're going to be getting more Starfield, hopefully soon, but Redfall will be shown off later this month at the Developer Direct that Microsoft are running. We will be covering that on the channel. But as I mentioned, I thought we'd take a quick look at the Avowed trailer. It's been almost 3 years. I don't really remember it, I just remember the Doctor Strange hand thing. So let's take a look just to refresh ourselves.
We have always known war.
It's very Elder Scrolls, isn't it? I don't know if this is in engine. I'd be surprised if it was.
It forged our empire.
It looks pretty though, like as a concept.
Queens and kings.
I quite like this kind of Lord of the Rings-esque.
And decimated our foes.
That's very modern. Good shot.
Now our
Oh, I
oaths
remember this.
are lost. Forsaken.
Yeah.
And you must face the monsters
Doctor Strange hand.
our sins have borne.
That sounds like a cave troll.
Is an oath worth the weight of a crown?
Is the oath worth the weight of the crown? Yeah, I mean it's purely just a little announcement. I don't know if that bit stood out to me though, but I don't know if any of this is going to make the final game. We never know until we see more, and this is from 3 years ago, so games can be changed, rebooted, whatever. But I think there's definitely something there. Fantasy's fantasy. It's very hard to be super original with fantasy. You're going to see Lord of the Rings, Elder Scrolls, The Witcher, depending on what, like the whole Doctor Strange hand thing. But so far, from what we've seen, it's magic, it's swords, it looks like it's first person, which could be very interesting. I didn't know this was in the Pillars of Eternity world. Pillars of Eternity isn't something I know much about. I probably should play them at some point, but I'm definitely looking forward to Avowed. I hope that we get more this year, probably around the E3 sort of time frame, so June, July. We'll see. I'd like to know more. I'd like to see what sort of shape it's in, but I think we're still looking at a 2024, 2025 probably release. Microsoft did have a tendency of announcing things quite a few years too early in the 2020 showcase. But let me know in the comments if you're looking forward to Avowed, or if you need to see more before you make up your mind. Either way, I'm hoping whatever comes out will be good, and Obsidian so far for me are on a really good track record, and they've made some really good stuff. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.